Good morning, everybody. It is Friday. Yay! It's about 8:30 in the morning. We're off to work. I've got my 2012 V-Strom 2.0. So I'm calling it 2.0 because I have added a few things. I got some new Givi crash bars that I put on last night. Is it Givi or Givi? I always say Givi, but I'm sure it's Italian, so it's Givi. I also put on the skid plate from Givi the other day, and I put on a new windshield, the Givi Airflow, which I actually have rode with it yesterday. Worked great, but I lowered it because I realized if I put my head just a little higher, I had even less wind. So I lowered it one notch yesterday to the middle setting. I had it on the highest, and I still have play where I can slide this up and down, but we'll see how that works. So I'm calling this 2.0. Now I got the skid plate and the crash bars because I'd like to do a little bit more off-roading. Now my interpretation of off-roading and yours is probably not the same because I'm just starting out. So mine's more like gravel and just some very tame off-road, dirt patches. So, but it's got to start somewhere, right? And then the hope would be that at some point I could do some trail riding somewhere for real. But I want to start small, work my way up, because that's just the kind of guy I am. So we're going to have to pay attention to a few things on this ride into work this morning. First of all, we're going to make sure my airflow is doing its magical, wonderful thing, the windshield, now that I changed the settings slightly. And then the other thing, some people have said they get vibration from the crash bars at a certain RPM. I don't know if I'm going to feel that or not. Some people say, oh, that's actually from the skid plate. I didn't feel any vibration yesterday when I rode with the skid plate on. So, I don't know. We'll see if I notice any sort of handling difference at all. It might be so darn subtle I don't even notice. So, anyway, I'm kind of excited about that. Everything went together very easily. I did the skid plate first before the crash bars. It's so darn easy to put that thing on. I mean, the holes are already there for where the screws go. They're already in the engine. So that's like nothing at all. You just have to contort yourself a little bit to reach in and put them in. And then the windshield is dead easy. There's nothing to that. The hardest part about the windshield is if you do need to move the little rubber, there's like these little funny little rubber grommets that have female sort of nuts in them, to take the bolt. I don't know if it's really a nut. I guess it is. But anyway, those are difficult if you're moving those from one hole to the other. There's a rubber bulge, and you really have to use some pliers and tug on those, and you think you're going to rip them, but you don't. So that's the hardest part, and I'm not even saying that's hard. And then the thing, you just put the bolts in, you just follow the directions, washer, spacer, rubber washer, what have you, and put them in. That's easy peasy. And then the crash bars, those are really easy too, because again, the holes are already there. You're just pulling some bolts out and putting some new bolts in. They're hex sizes. I happen to have a nice metric hex ratchet set. I'm not using just a simple handheld, like a ratchet key, which would be difficult to loosen the engine bolts, I suppose, if you had those. Because I had the nice ratchet set, the bolts weren't that hard to loosen. I torqued everything back. I did a little research online, and the recommended torque for the new engine bolts that hold the crash bars was 100, well, it turned out to be 16.5 foot-pounds of torque. My torque wrench is in inches, so just doing the math, that was 198 torque inches per pound. So I made sure I torqued those in properly. And Bob's your uncle. What's happening here? Got a bit of a something. Just a truck. So yeah. So I'm pretty excited about it all. Yeah, you can really tell this Givi airflow windshield makes a heck of a difference, because I don't have my, granted I'm not listening to the recording right now, but I don't have my face shield down, and I've obviously got some air coming in my helmet, but it's not, usually I'm going 35 and I have to put my shield down when I'm talking because the noise is so loud in my helmet. So the fact that I can talk at 45 and not feel excessive wind in my helmet, that's just proof in the pudding right there. But I am going to put my shield down just for y'all's benefit. Red light right now, just to make sure it's not too loud. I also, the last little thing that I bought, I went on a little shopping spree. The last little thing I got was some Plexus cleaner, spray cleaner for my helmet, because I've been using like Windex or glasses cleaner, and you're not supposed to do that on your helmet shield because it's plastic and it'll scratch it or mar it or otherwise damage it. So I bought some Plexus. It's kind of weird stuff. It kind of dries really quickly. It's not wet when you spray it on, so I just used that on my helmet today. And now I've got this chemical spray in my helmet, which kind of sucks. But anyway, I watched Long Way Down and Long Way Round again. Ewan McGregor and Charlie Bowman. I think I've watched those shows 3 times over the past couple of years. I don't know, I find it's entertaining to me. The guys are real likable. It's good stuff. I'm also reading a book called Lois Gets Lost, about an English woman who decides to quit her job and ride from the top of Alaska down to, where's she going? I guess she's going right down sent to the bottom of South America. So I'm kind of in the middle of that book. That's interesting too. You know, it's stuff that everybody dreams of, right? You want to quit your job and travel by motorcycle. Some people are lucky enough to get to do that. It's not something I could possibly even entertain right now. I mean, I've got kids, family, and all that stuff, so I'll just have to settle for some smaller weekend trips and things, which is fine. You know, I wouldn't want to be away for a year right now, but it's fun to dream about, that's for sure.